何も卑怯とは言わねえがよ、海軍。疲れ切った新緑たちにそりゃあちょっと野暮じゃないか。そんなに怖いか、新時代が。お前らと戦う気はねえ。まだな。
How's it going, everybody? We're back again, rocking some Shanks. Still some OP09 gameplay. OP10 comes out today, I guess. But we're going to be playing against probably one of our hardest matchups, and that's Purple Luffy. Though, if you look, I did win the die roll and ended up deciding to go first. Once you take Purple Luffy off of first, the matchup gets a little bit easier, though it is still one of Shanks' hardest matchups. And not to spoil anything, but this game gets pretty intense. This game does go a little long, but this game gets pretty intense, and we actually managed to pull through. As I say, I guess that is a spoiler, but how I do it though, it's pretty crazy. So you're definitely going to want to buckle in and grab some popcorn and enjoy the show. But just swing it. I was just gonna swing. I swing AK because I have nothing better to do. I think my hand is like all 2Ks at this point. And good old Luffy gets a Zoro out. Zoro is gonna look at the top 5. Grab an Usohachi. Usohachi could be a stain on me later in the game if I want to set up a bunch of blockers, which is pretty much all I have in my hand at this point. And we're gonna go up to our 5 Dawn turn. We do have a what's his name? Lucky Roo. I can honestly, I don't know how they ever expect us to remember the names of Shanks' crew. Like I only know that's like the names of Shanks' crew because of this card game and because of the Shanks deck. But like, if you asked me and like pulled up a picture of one of Shanks' crewmates, I would have no idea who he is. Right? I'd say a fat guy sharpshooter is probably what I'd say if you showed me Lucky Roo. I like know he's on Shanks' crew, but like don't. And there's like Lime Juice and like other ones. I know, like, you know, First Mate Beckman, but that's about it. Anyways, opponent's going pretty hard here. I'm just gonna take one hit. I think going down to 5 is going down to 4 is always free. I always say as a 5 life leader, the first hit's always free. Always take those. But once you take me down to 3, things get a little more intense here. And we're going to see the perfect curve for good old Luffy here, going to 7 drop Luffy Taro into Sangoro. Notably, Lucky Roo will be able to clean up Sangoro pretty easily. Lucky Roo's effect is base power, so even if my opponent decides to stick some Dawn under Sangoro, Lucky Roo will just be able to clean him up as well. Can't really play around that one. But also means I can't minus power with Shanks and then clean up something with Lucky Roo. Very interesting how that mechanic works. We got 7 Dawn here to work with. I think what we're gonna do is just swing 7K somewhere, and I think we're going at lead here. Yes, I should probably be going at board, but ultimately I have to kill Luffy, right? Oh yeah, we gotta kill him. And you know, once we get to the late game, yes, my deck thrives, but also Luffy's deck kind of thrives too because of Gum Gum Giant. And we were going to pitch the ace, which decided to pitch the Gum Gum Red Hawk. Red Hawk, not the best in this matchup. Red Hawk is really just going to be used as a way to stall out here. But we do have a Rayleigh for this next turn, which is going to be pretty nice. Rayleigh will be able to clean some stuff. And I'm on 9 Dawn, so that Otama in hand could also allow me to clear some bigger bodies. But Sangoro's going to attack. I'm going to decide to actually clean up the Zoro. Kind of, yes, Sangoro is a problem, but I have a Rayleigh in hand, which will likely clean up the Sangoro next turn anyways, so it's not really a big deal. But stopping Zoro from attacking is pretty nice here. Opponent's going to go ahead and play out a Sanji. Probably should have done that before he attacked with Sangoro, but going to go ahead and swing a good old 6K lead here. And would he have set himself down to 7 Dawn, potentially? Maybe that's why he did it that way. But yeah, whole lot of swings coming at me here. I think we're gonna let the Luffy Taro go through here, just because I think I want to keep the Otama. Have I used? I have not. I think I had to use the leader ability last turn for the Sanji, or for that Sanji attack. So, oh man, I'm thinking. Okay, no, this is leader ability. Or no, that was going at my bad. That was going into Rayleigh. Hard to tell where people are attacking when you have no sound. But yeah, 6K into 8K into 6K, give him a 2K, 1K. I kind of saw some value in keeping Rayleigh around. especially since he's about to be joined by his older self, Mr. A-Drop Rayleigh. But right now I'm thinking, do I want to go Otama into Luffy Taro, Otama Rayleigh into Luffy Taro, clean up Luffy Taro, and instead use the -2 to swing 6k into 4 and see if we can clean it up. So yeah, we're actually gonna pop the Luffy Taro, and we're gonna go 5k into 4k here. Just try to get a 2k to my opponent's hand, and then ultimately, if he counters that, we're just gonna give a 6k into a 4k. We're just gonna eat 2 cards out of my opponent's hand, and yeah, no, not gonna do that. And looking at my opponent's Don, yes, so he couldn't have Sanji'd the Lucky Roo, because Sanji would have took him down to 7 Don, which would not allow Sangoro to draw a card, which is really the big reason you play Sangoro, to draw cards every single turn, and that's why I kind of identified it as such a threat, using my blocker there. But we're only down to 2 cards in hand, still got 4 life up. Opponent's board is getting whittled down, and we do have a nice little Rayleigh on board, but we need a little more action than that. I've only seen Rayleigh so far, seen a whole lot of the other side of Shanks' deck. One of the things I've noticed playing Shanks is sometimes you'll see all your top end, and sometimes you'll see all your 2Ks, but never both. You don't often see both of them at the same time. It's a very lucky moment when you can see both of them, and that honestly must be happening every time I play against Shanks, because every time I play against Shanks, I just get whopped because they have everything they need. But opponent taking a little hard here, plays the Zoro Juro down, grabs something, I wasn't paying attention, and gonna go ahead and swing 8k into good old Rayleigh. Gonna clean Rayleigh up finally. Not gonna give 2 more cards to Rayleigh. Rayleigh did his job. Rayleigh took out Sangoro. That was his job here. Opponent's gonna swing 5k. I'm gonna use leader ability. This swing 5k again. I'm just gonna take it. Little 5k swing is fine with me if you're gonna use that 3 Don. Notably, opponent's not holding up 1 Don for Gum Gum Giant. So he either doesn't have it, or he really does not want to set himself to 9 on this next turn. Because Gum Gum Giant definitely more efficient when you're casting it at 10 Don. Speaking of 10 Don, we're at our 10 Don. Would love to see a 10 drop Shanks here. Instead we see a Beckman. Beckman's fine. Beckman will allow me to clean up the Zoro Juro. And that's where we're actually going to swing 9k into Sanji here to try to go for a little cleanup crew. We've got 2 more Don to work with. Opponent's going to give me 2k, 1k, which is a little annoying. But we can use the other. I think we need to just like maybe pivot at this point. We're gonna play. I think we should just go into Law at this point, since my opponent shows me that he's likely going to swing at Law, and maybe leave 2 up for the Gum Gum Red Hawk here is probably what we're going to do. So yeah, 5k, because opponent countered that, we've got to change gears a little bit. We're still going to clean up the Law and the Zoro Juro, but we're going to have to keep Sanji around. But going to leave the 2 Don open for the Gum Gum Red Hawk, which is pretty good. Nice little 4k counter. I also got a 2k in hand, but we're sitting okay right now. We really need to find some more top end. Beckman I wouldn't consider top end, but he is a pretty solid force to be reckoned with. I'm just gonna go ahead and swing 7k here, and I think we're just gonna go ahead and fire off the Red Hawk here. Opponent could just slam down a 9-drop Luffy, which would be pretty good. And that actually looks like that's exactly what he's doing here. Gonna go ahead and -1, draw a card. Have a little 10k rusher. Could be an 11k rusher here. If he decides to go into Rayleigh, things are going to get a little awkward, but it decides to send 10 into Rayleigh instead of 11, which means I can leader ability counter out of that. Opponent's going to go 5, and then opponent's going to start holding 1 Don up, which tells me that he's either bluffing a Gum Gum Giant or he has one. But man, Gum Gum Giant, one heck of a card. Should that card have gotten banned? I say for now it's not a huge deal, but I do think by the time OP11 runs around, after Japan has some fun with OP11, we might see that card getting the chopping block here, as well as maybe some other cards. But that card's pretty darn good for what it does. Honestly, it's definitely overrated for what it does. Being able to 4k counter or something, discard something you don't care about, and draw 2 more cards, which then can allow you to counter even higher. It's really good. Yes, the downside is that you can't really use it until you're at 9 to 10 Don, but it's still just a great top end for every Straw Hat deck. It's what makes Robin pretty viable in my opinion, though we'll see how Robin changes with the meta change here. Opponent's gonna go a little bit of counters here into my 7k, a little 2k, 1k, and took the first 6K, but decided the 7K was not worth taking here. And man, I really wish I had like a dragon or something to keep applying pressure. This is the moment where Shanks would be like in the driver's seat if I could see some top end, but I'm not seeing any top end right now. So I think what we're gonna do, I'm thinking like, should I just go 9 into Sanji? But if I do that, I just eat the Gum Gum. But maybe that's not a bad idea. But it could also potentially, the part that's really annoying about Gum Gum is cycling your opponent out of a bad hand, right? Gum Gum Giant can cycle you out of a bad hand. You could discard a brick and then draw two 2Ks or something, or more action for the next turn. So instead, we're gonna go a big ol' swing here. This is 13K into 7K. So if opponent decides to Gum Gum Giant, he's gonna give me like a 2K, 1K outside of that. So just kind of telling my opponent, I respect your Gum Gum Giant, but I'm not gonna let you use it on me. So able to clean up Sanji. Opponent only has a 10 cost Luffy. My opponent did immediately, oh my gosh, immediately set aside 1 Don. So you know there's could be a Lin coming down, or a 9 cost Luffy. 9 cost Luffy would be kind of annoying. I'm trying my best to keep this Rayleigh alive, but my hand is doing a good job of dwindling my hand down here. But opponent likely gonna spend the 10K. 10K is gonna go into Beckman. I could block with Lucky Roo, right? But I think okay, yeah, we're gonna block with Lucky Roo. I think maybe I should have kept it down. Should have not blocked with it and then just let the Beckman go, because now my biggest fear is losing Rayleigh, and now there's another 10-drop Luffy. So now the 10-drop Luffy switches gears, gonna go after Rayleigh, and I have 2 1Ks in hand, so I fumbled there. I shouldn't have blocked. I should have let the Beckman go, because I should have just expected. I was kind of expecting a Lin to come down to like make my blocker go away, but instead we saw a Luffy. Maybe my opponent would have played a Lin differently, but look at my hand, nothing. Whole lot of no big drops. Would love to see a Shanks right now, but would Shanks be good enough at this point? I don't know, because those Luffys are going to be coming for my life here soon. This might actually be my last turn potentially. We're going to play Yasop. We're going to take ourselves up to a 6K lead. We're going to attack higher than that, maybe. Wish we had a blocker in hand. Instead, we're just going to keep the 2K, 1K in hand. We're going to go 7K lead here. See if we can eat a Gum Gum Giant. Sometimes opponents will just do it. Yep. Sometimes 7K is enough to get a Gum Gum Giant. Opponent doesn't want to go to 1 here, but going to discard a brick. Luffy Taro. Going to draw 2 cards. And I could swing... I could just swing 11, or we could. What I'm gonna do here is called bluffing. We're gonna swing 9K at lead, and then we're gonna hold up 2 Don. So I'm hard bluffing a potential Gum Gum Red Hawk, just like I would do in purple Luffy or any of the purple Straw Hat decks. I would hold up 1 Don all the time. That's honestly, as long as Gum Gum Giant exists and you're playing a Straw Hat leader that's in purple, just hold up Gum Gum Giant. Just act like you have it. Every turn, act like you have it. They will play around it all the time, and you can see my opponent separating Dawn out here, thinking like, oh man, he's got a Gum Gum Red Hawk in hand, doesn't he? So now I have to account for that 4K. My opponent's also at 6K, right? So I have to account for that a little bit, because he really needs those 3 hits to kill me, right? Those 3 hits need to connect, and maybe things aren't going too well in his hand here, but yeah. This is pretty interesting. Gonna go 10K lead. We all know I'm bluffing. Well, at least I know I'm bluffing. My opponent doesn't know that yet. He's gonna find out when I take this other 10K. I can't take this other 10K, but I think I have to. 2K, 2K, 1K. I have 2K, 2K, 1K. I could leader effect counter out of it with 2 2Ks, which is probably what I'm gonna do here, because I cannot afford to take 15 to face. So yeah, we're gonna leader effect 2 2Ks out of that one. We cannot afford to die here. And I'm still threatening. I'm still threatening a potential Red Hawk, right? If my opponent decides to go for board, I could give something on my board plus 4K. At least that's what my opponent thinks. And that right there is a lesson in the power of bluffing in this game. with events. It didn't work so often in the past, right? With this game, when there wasn't like a go-to known event in specific decks, other than like Whitebeard, you knew he was running Guard Point or Radical Beam, and often red decks you're like, they're running Radical Beam, but opponent's gonna go ahead and swing a big old swing, little 10k into my 7k. Yeah, if I had Gum Red Hawk there, I would have slammed it down. Opponent's just gonna play a blocker kid. Pass back to me. No Dawn up for my opponent. No Dawn. But I don't think I can go for lethal here because of that blocker. I could play the Beckman. Beckman would allow me to clean up the kid, but I really just have to go as protective as possible. We're gonna draw 2. We end up picking up 2/2Ks. We're going to keep the 2Ks in hand, and probably what we're gonna do is just swing with Yasop. And I think we're gonna hold 2 Dawn up again to feign that we have it. All right, so we're gonna go big old swing, little 8k swing, -1 on the kid blocker, so he can't just easily use kid blocker and less cards in hand. Right, it's the same either way if kid blocks it or if his opponent takes it. We're gonna go 8k again. We decided, oh no, we gave up the bluff. Now we're hoping for a miracle. 2/2Ks in hand. 2 10 drops on the board. We need a miracle, and you know what that miracle is called? The miracle is called Gum Red Hawk. And baby, there it is. I told you it was gonna get spicy. That's a Gum Red Hawk off the last life. If you don't know what Gum Red Hawk's trigger does, it gives something -10,000 power for the turn. So we're gonna give his character -10,000 power. That Luffy's a zero cost now. If my opponent wanted to split Dawn, he could definitely do it, but I think I have enough counter to get out of it at this point. Especially with the blocker on the field. But that Red Hawk saved the day. It is my red beige. You know, yellow players you get to have beige. Red players, if you're playing Shanks, you get to have 4 beige too. And this is my first time doing somebody else. It's happened to me playing against Shanks several times, so I'm very cognizant of it. But yeah, no, that was this kind of definitely sent my opponent in a bit of a tizzy here, and he's making him having to pivot. Instead plays Lin here, -1, gonna trash a card from hand, gonna gain a life, and maybe give me a life. Right, gotta get something off the board, but I am feeling confident. Hopefully, feeling somewhat confident here. They're trying to decide if they want to give me a life. Lin gives you a life first, and then yeah, they're gonna give me the Rayleigh. It's gonna go on my life, and swing 5k at me. Do it. They're not going to. They're just gonna pass. All right, this is where I have to call their bluff because I have nothing else. We have liftoff. We got a dragon. We finally found top end. All we've seen this game is a Rayleigh. We finally see the dragon, and honestly, the best moment to find a dragon here. We're gonna go 7k lead first. Opponent's going to counter out of that 2k 1k. We're gonna slam dragon. Dragon's going to attach 2 Dawn, and I need to fix this here because I underpaid for dragon. There we go. We underpaid. So we're going to be able to go like 8-9. So I just have to hope for no Gum. 8 lead. No Gum. Okay. 9 lead. No Gum. The bluff means nothing when you have no fear. And that's it, guys. We took out Luffy. What a crazy game. If you enjoy this type of content, definitely subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video.